This video is brought to you by PrizePicks. All right, Mac, it's the summertime, and I'm going to get deep into my Bill Simmons bag here. We're going to have ourselves a couple of drafts here. In one video, me and Mac are going to do a draft for the players on the Browns roster that we think have the best chance to rise this year, have a better season than what they had the season prior. Then we're going to do a second draft in a separate video about the guys who we think are the best bets to go down this year. So don't know how I'm going to name this video. Don't know how I'm going to figure out how to market this. But I think it's going to be a fun 10 to 20 to 30 minutes of action here that we're going to be able to cook up out this idea. If you don't know, Mac Robinson from 92.3 The Fan is here to join me. Mac, you excited to do this draft with me?
I'm ready, Q. Let's do it.
I got to get my Bill Simmons cadence going. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do you need to go to the doctor here coming up?
Yeah, I need to go to the doctor.
That's when LeBron's going to announce that he's coming back to
I don't
Cleveland.
need to get what Bill was getting done. You know what I mean? But I need a random name to say to reference one of my off-camera people, you know, like very Bill Simmons, where it's like, hey, Steve. Come up with nicknames for all my writing friends. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was talking to pals about this last week, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like the LeBron thing, I just don't see it working. You know, like it's weird. He's 38. Like,
but then you just need the random ass story that goes on for like 3 minutes to just go ahead and tie it in with, yeah, you know, and that's why I think that LeBron going to Miami is just terrible.
It's the worst thing. I remember when like he was like really in love with Evan Mobley. I used to like put up these parody tweets of like Bill Simmons talking about Evan Mobley, but it'd be like him talking about Tim Duncan, but it's like you put in Evan Mobley and you like post it. And people like, he said that? It sounds like something he would say. I'm like, yeah, kind of. He did compare Evan to freaking Tim Duncan. But let's get into it. We're going to do our riser draft. PrizePicks is a fun way to earn cash while you watch your favorite teams. No complex betting rules. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Here are my picks for this upcoming season, AFC North edition. Jimmy Bernard, I have less than 475. This has to do with volume available in Pittsburgh's offense. Quincy Judkins, I have over 975. Browns improved line. I think the run game is going to be better with it. Chase Brown, under 900 yards. Joe Burrow equals less rushing yards usually for the Bengals offense. Mark Andrews, more than 475 yards. Lamar's going to need a safety blanket. Check to see if PrizePicks is available in your state. You could follow me on the app at Quinn_C to see all my lineups. Download the PrizePicks app today. Play $5 and get $50 in lineup to download the app using the link in the description. How do we want to determine who gets the first? Do you want the first pick in the riser draft or the dropper draft?
I'll take it in the riser draft.
You'll take it in the riser draft? All right, who are you going first pick?
First pick, I'm actually going to go Mason Graham. He was somebody that Todd Monken, around, I want to say it was around combine time, but people were asking him about like who he was really excited about, who he thinks can take that next step. And first name out of his mouth was Mason Graham. And I think that Mason, especially, with Miles out to LA, I think that Mason's going to eat. Especially seeing as, he already had one sack taken away last season, in order to give that to Miles total. I think he's going to have some serious pressure this season. I think that he's going to be a guy that I'm definitely willing to go ahead and see him take that next step this year.
Every time they ask Jacques Césaire about Mason Graham, this guy smiles ear to ear. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it means something good.
Yeah.
Like, I know like there's been some negativity about him, but like a lot of that negativity is just like the internet not knowing how to, this is really Bill Simmons coded, but like the internet not knowing how to talk about defensive tackle play, right? Like I think a lot of people just kind of check out when it comes to defensive tackle play. They look at the sack numbers. They don't really understand how pivotal that position is. And I think there was a spurt there from the bye week till he broke his rib in against 49ers, about 4-week run there.
Yeah.
And like Mason Graham at 22 years old was legit one of the best defensive tackles in football for those 4 weeks. Like elite level play for 4 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And then he broke his rib, and he still maintained a very high quality of play after that. He's going to be stronger.
And that was also right around the time that Malik Collins also went down too.
Yeah. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be in better shape cardio-wise, which he was in fantastic shape last year. So, like, I don't know how much more he has to do. Like,
yeah,
he's one of those guys where, like, the eye test is going to fail so many people because, like, they look at Mason Graham and they see a fat white dude, right? Like, that's kind of what they see when they look at Mason Graham. But I'm like, when I look at Mason Graham, I see a dude who played like 1,000 snaps for Michigan's defense, like 2 years back to back. I see a guy who never had to get subbed out, somebody who gave Nick Saban fits in a national in a semifinal game to the point where Nick Saban was like, that dude like singled that guy out. Somebody who completely destroyed Ohio State every time he saw him. You know what I mean? Even when he was on teams that had no business beating Ohio State. You know, like straight up, like he's of that last guard of Michigan players that was like able to do that to Ohio State. And probably like it's going to be like 10 years until we see something like that again, more than likely if the history of that rivalry continues to go the way it's going. Yeah, fantastic player. Like it's funny to me because everybody before the draft was like, no doubt, blue chip, top 5 pick Mason Graham.
Yeah.
And then he gets drafted in the top 5. And then everybody's like, oh, why would we take Mason Graham in the top 5? It's like, guys, did we not watch? Now, if you guys don't know, that is an absolute Bill Simmons reference right there.
Dude, I still love that draft, by the way, man.
But like, for real, you know, like everybody when we were watching football and watching this guy play at Michigan was like, that's a top 5 pick. And then like, because he's not the most aesthetically pleasing guy, everybody's just out on him, you know? Like it almost reminds me of like how people just flipped on Luka before that draft. Yeah. Right? Because like it was like, oh, Luka's this, Luka's that. And then people saw what Luka looked like. And they were like, oh no, we're gonna take Mo Bamba in front of him. Right? Like we're gonna like insane stuff. It's like, no, man, like defensive tackles who can do the stuff that Mason Graham can do and play the amount of snaps that he can. Every great defense has had somebody like that, right? You can show me a bunch of bad defenses with great pass rushers and some solid linebackers. I've seen Myles Garrett be on shitty defenses before, and that's no disrespect to Myles, right? It was certainly before he was the guy that he became, you know, the final boss, almighty Myles Garrett that we just traded away. But, you know, like we've seen really good players at different positions be able to exist, but like if you have great defensive tackle play, that's going to put a floor on your defense. You know, that's going to just allow so many other players to be good. So yeah, I'm very high on Mason Graham. I love that for a first pick. It might be my first pick here. Well, it might have been my first pick here because it's kind of unfair. Because if he has like one sack, it counts as a win here for you. And like we watched him play last year. I think Jock Cesaire even said he should have had like 6.5. He just didn't raise his arm for some of them. Right. Yeah. Like, so like he's going to easily get to 6.5 next year.
600% improvement.
Yeah. It's going to be a huge improvement here. So kind of unfair, but you know, the rules are the rules to this game. So excellent first pick here. My first pick is going to be a little unfair because it's production. Nah, I'm gonna stick with my gut here. My first pick here is gonna be somebody whose production I think is definitely gonna improve as well as their efficiency. It's because the offensive line got better. I'm going Quincy Judkins here. Pretty easy to see pick here. I mean, we saw what he could do with the worst run blocking. Everybody talks about how bad the pass blocking was. there was a gap between how bad the pass blocking was, which was bad, to how bad the run blocking was. It was some of the worst shit I've ever seen. And I've seen some bad shit. So yeah, Quincy benefiting from not having to deal with that offensive line anymore, still put up numbers that I thought were very respectable last year. Because I know people are like, well, you thought Shador was a victim of some circumstance. Why couldn't? But Quincy can have that, and like Quincy was actually good in spite those circumstances, right? So there's that for him. I think he's going to improve a ton. I have a sleeper pick here too.
Okay.
But I'm not going to reveal it yet because, I see you just circling in the water as a shark here. So let's get to your pick here, pick 3.
Okay. So for my next one, I'm actually going to go with a guy that I've heard put some work in the weight room this offseason. He's been one of the talk of OTAs throughout. Has been listed as one of the breakout players for this season. I'm going to go with Isaiah Bond.
I like that.
I'm going to go with Isaiah Bond. From what I had heard back even like right before the draft too, came into offseason workouts like right around 200 pounds. And so like he had been putting in the muscle this offseason, and from everything that, all the reports and everything like that I had heard, he had not lost a little bit of that speed. And so I think that he's somebody that I think can really take a jump this year. And I know you said that KC might be the better receiver with Denzel. I think that Isaiah Bond is going to allow KC to take his time and not feel as rushed to be in the lineup as quickly as possible. I think that he's going to give you a little bit of a buffer there on offense. And actually, for the first time that we can talk about, you have legitimate like weapons that you can go ahead and chess piece that you can piece and part around your offense there.
Yeah, I like Isaiah Bond. 18 receptions, 338 yards here. My only thing with Isaiah Bond is there's just some like natural wide receiver stuff that like it doesn't seem to be sticky with him, right? Like the getting the eyes around at certain times, he seems to be very inconsistent with that for whatever reason. But yeah, he's looked great in OTA, so I don't hate this pick at all. My second pick here. This is tough here. Because, like, there are some names I want to stay away from because I'm like, the statistical production is going to be hard to match, let alone improve upon from last year, right? We got to stay away from the entire offensive line because of this.
I'm fine with picking them. You can take them if you want.
You know who I'm going to go here? Jared Verse.
Damn you. Damn you. That was one that I had in mind.
7.5 sacks last year. It's just not going that he's going to have to get like 12 this year, right? To kind of justify everything. More opportunities, more swings, more aggressive philosophy. I think he probably gets to double digits for the first time in his career. Playing here, the interesting thing to track. Myles Garrett is technically downgrading from defensive line play because he's going from Mason Graham, Malik Collins, kind of like one of the best interiors, I thought, of all last year, and then a solid edge and like Alex Wright to like Byron Young, who had double-digit sacks last year, who's not bad. And then like, some guys who are good on the interior, but very different, right? Like they're not guys who can take up extra space. Turner. Yeah, they're not guys who are going to take up a ton of space on the interior. So it's going to be a little bit of a different fit for him. And it's going to be a little bit of a different fit for him defensively where he's not going to be out in the wide 9 as much anymore, which is going to leave him a little bit more vulnerable to chips. So I do wonder like what that difference does for like a Jared Verse versus a Myles Garrett. But I think he will definitely statistically improve from last year. He has to. There's going to be pressure on him to do it. I know that everybody's like, oh, there's no shoes to fill with Myles Garrett. There's absolutely, it's the greatest defensive player of my lifetime. Like, guys, we got to be serious about this. Like, it's like trading Shaq and being like, there's no pressure on the center that replaces Shaq. Like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, of course there's pressure on that guy. Every Lakers center who's ever played has been compared to Shaq. Like, that is the pressure. Hey, Andrew Bynum won a finals for him. They're still comparing him to Shaq. Like, that's just what it is, right? When you have that kind of player there, everybody who ever plays the position in that same uniform it's going to be compared to him. So that's going to be something he's going to have to deal with, but I think that pressure would be good for him. I think he will have an uptick in production this year. So I feel good about Verse here with my second pick. We'll go 5 each. I think that's fair, right? 5 picks each.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that. With my next pick, actually, I know you already took one from this position, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Dylan Sampson.
Ah, you son of a bitch! I thought I'd be.
I actually think that he's gonna be somebody that is gonna be more involved in the pass game this time around this year, and also too, I actually really like the idea, and especially in looking at what Todd Monken's used over the last few years in Baltimore, compared to what you have from Stefanski, where there was less substitutions here and there. I think that with Monken and the way that he likes to use some speed guys that he used in Baltimore, I actually think that Sampson might get a little bit more run than he did last season as well. And again, I also know that the stats were low on him last season, but I do think that he's going to be able to really get creative in the offense especially. And so I actually really like Dylan Sampson. I really like them as a tandem. Especially too. And I do think that it's going to be one that you're going to be able to kind of lean on, similar to how Detroit was early on in in their resurgence over the last few years with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, I love the Dylan Sampson pick. When he only had like 175 yards last year. So I think he's pretty much guaranteed to be a riser. Just the one trait about him that I thought was fascinating watching him play, and I thought it translated in the limited play that he had, was he is so hard to take down for a guy who's not that big. Because his size really did concern me. 5'8", 200 pounds. It was for the amount of.
He doesn't look 200.
Yeah, he's able to stay on his feet. He has great contact balance, and I think that serves him well. And he's pretty explosive as an athlete. And yeah, I do wonder, looking at how Todd Monken used his running back room, I think it was Keaton Mitchell that he had a lot of fun using in a similar way. I could see that being a role for Dylan Sampson here. All right, now we're getting to the point where I'm going to have to take a gamble on somebody, right?
Let's see who you roll the dice on.
Let's see. All right, I'm going to be the guy who does it. Jerry Jeudy. Okay. I'm taking Jerry Jeudy.
Okay. All right. You're the one that's going Jeudy.
I have to imagine he's going to be better than what he was last year.
With the amount of receivers that they added this offseason?
Even if
he's
that's the case. He's going to be
better than 600 yards?
Wait, I think he could be better than 600 yards. I think one of the things, because, look, Jerry Jeudy, I did a whole video about this. He is not the most likable dude. And because that's the case, it allows us to focus on a lot of the negatives of Jerry Jeudy's game, which there's a lot to talk about there, right? Not going to act like Jerry Jeudy's perfect. But also, the 5 most explosive plays from last season are all Jerry Jeudy plays. This is a guy who almost had 500 yards in the game. Against his old team in Denver, right?
That was 2 years ago now. That was with Jameis.
For sure, but he it wasn't that long ago that he had 1,200 yards. It was with Jameis.
I know what you're saying.
Shitty quarterback play. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that happened within the first 7 weeks of that season, he probably should have 1,500 yards that season. He was open all the time. And when you watch him on tape, he's open a lot. He's still getting open a ton. He's super explosive with the ball in his hands. And I do think more wide receivers in this room is actually going to benefit him more than it's going to hurt him, because I don't think he gets 150 targets anymore. But also, I think that puts him on the. I think that takes him off the top of the game plan sheet for defenses, which I don't think he could handle last year. Right, when it's Christian Gonzalez in a design game plan to stop Jerry Jeudy, he stood no chance. And I think that's what we saw a lot of last year, because you look at the Browns' offense. Who else really were you worried about that were established threats?
Yeah.
Other than Jerry Jeudy. Eventually it became Harold Fannin. It's also when we start to see Jerry Jeudy have an uptick in production. Just gonna throw that one out there, right? Like we started to see him be a little bit more explosive towards the end of the season. You know, I think having more options available means that Jerry Jeudy's going to be able to get more favorable matchups with ease. You're going to be able to scheme him into things, and I wouldn't sleep on Todd Monken's ability to get a guy who can consistently get open some production. You know what I mean? Even with the quarterback play that the Browns have. Now, Denzel Boston being there, it's going to put a ceiling on it, but like over 600 yards, 50 receptions, 600 yards, it's a terrible average for him last year. Like you can get 600 yards in 70 targets or maybe even more than that, right? So yeah. I think that's on the table. I don't think he's going to drop the ball as much as he did last year. Like if you look at Jeudy's career, the drops come in batches, and there were just so many batches for him last year. I have to imagine that it gets better for him. I don't like betting on Jerry Jeudy because historically betting on Jerry Jeudy is not the most secure thing to do, but I have to imagine it's the worst season of his life in football. He has to be better than this, especially like close to a contract.
Yeah. I guess for my pick, right? Okay. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do it. Speaking of contract, I'm actually going to go for somebody that
oh my God, he's going to take Deshaun Watson?
Believe it or not. Yeah, no, of course not. Actually, that would be a very easy, could be higher than what he did last time. But no, I'm actually going to go Ronnie Hickman. I
even with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren.
Okay, here's the only thing. I didn't know about rookies just because I'm like they're coming into the league. Like I don't know, like so for me, I'm just like if we're talking about players improving, I'm not including rookies in that.
Well, no, I'm saying like you think he's even going to be able to find that improvement with them trying to get time for Emmanuel McNeil-Warren.
Yeah, I think so because I think the way that and especially with the way that Rutenberg kind of ran that defense, or at least ran the passing defense down in Atlanta. A lot of it was utilizing, obviously Xavier Watts gets talked about too, but Billy Bowman also was utilized as their slot, their slot cover, their slot DB. But having him slide into that role, so I think you're going to see a lot of 3 safety looks this season, and especially too, I don't think that they're going to try to rush Emmanuel McNeil-Warren early. So I do think that there's going to be a lot of time for him to really kind of step up into that kind of a role early on. And I think that for Ronnie, I know he had 103 tackles last season as well, but for him, I do think that because of the other DBs that you're going to have, between Denzel, between Tyson Campbell as well, and also Grant Delpit playing up near line of scrimmage, I do think that you're going to have a lot more options, when it comes and a lot more opportunities when it comes to Ronnie Hickman to play a little bit further back, be able to go ahead and play that center field role this year. And again, like you said too, contract year, I think that this is going to be a situation where for him, he wants to step up and he wants to go ahead and make sure that he's able to get that next contract coming in. So I can see Ronnie Hickman as one of those guys that, and I will say too, in talking to different reporters that were there at OTAs too, like they were speaking glowingly about Ronnie Hickman this offseason. And the way that he's been able to improve throughout. So I'm very excited to see, how he takes that step up this season. I know it's already a bit of a high bar with 2 picks last season, as well as over 100 tackles. So for him, I do think that he's somebody that could step up into that role. I think this season, maybe surprise a little bit more than we expect.
That's a solid pick. It's off the radar a little bit, right? I think a lot of people have forgotten about.
We're getting into our 4th pick. I wanted to go a little different here. All
right. I'm gonna pick this guy. I almost have to. Quincy Williams, the linebacker.
I was thinking about him. I was thinking about Quincy.
He's back with Mike Rutenberg, who last time he was with Mike, he was an All-Pro player. Now I felt great about this pick in May. Mm-hmm. Don't feel as great about it without Miles, right? Because again, just so much attention is going to be on the middle of that defense now.
That I will say from some of the stuff, at least behind the scenes too, when it comes to when it comes to Quincy. I've heard nothing but great things about his leadership, man, and the way that he is. Even though he's a new player coming into Berea, he has just been somebody that has really kind of taken like the bull by the horns and just kind of come in and just been willing to be that guy that's willing to kind of take the reins there.
Yeah,
as a leader.
Baller. A few years ago, just like one of the best linebackers in football. Not that long ago. I don't know if he gets to that point, but I think playing with Carson Schlesinger and Jason Tarver, I think that's going to be a great combination, right? Tarv, Rutenberg, Carson Schlesinger. This feels like another get the bag special. Shout out to Devin Bush. Shout out to Sione Takitaki, where we make a guy look really good and then somebody pays him $20 million to go play for him. And they're like, what the fuck? When they get him. Like I would, if you are a fan of another team, I would really advise not taking the Browns free agent linebackers.
It's so funny that you say it like that too, because I was watching a podcast last night and somebody had brought up the fact that Larry Bird, when he was the GM for the Pacers, specifically had a no LeBron rule, where if you play with LeBron James, we are not going to sign you, because anytime we sign a player or anytime anybody signs a player that play with LeBron, they are infinitely worse as soon as they leave LeBron.
Well, it's like if you play the player, you only know about that player because if you play with LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where it gets dangerous, because it's like now you're trying to sign, like who would be a peak, played with LeBron, got the bat. Like you're not about to sign Mario Chalmers to big time money. Like that's not a good idea. Or was it not Birdman? There was another player that like he looked really good with LeBron, and then you could just say half the Cavs roster before he left the first time.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Mo Williams got a bag. But yeah, like
Mo Williams stuck around in the league long enough after LeBron left Cleveland the first time to go ahead and come back for the championship.
Went from like a pivotal piece in the Cleveland Browns linebacking room and like one of the better Sam linebackers in football. Signed with the Patriots, and now he spent 2025 on the Vikings practice squad.
Yeah.
Like
literally like 3 years later.
Yeah, Devin Bush went from being on practice squads to almost making a Pro Bowl. And then signing
$30 million.
Yeah, $30 million from, the Bears. And like I've done some radio for the Chicago Bears. And they've been good folks, but I'm trying to tell them the most polite way possible. I don't buy the Jason Tarver linebackers if you don't have Jason Tarver. I mean, like how many guys are Reggie Ragland?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember that? Deion Jones. Dog.
Oh my God.
What was the guy he got? BJ Goodson.
Oh, yeah.
2 years of Malcolm Smith.
Hell, even oh my God. Super Bowl MVP.
That's what I'm talking about. Malcolm Smith. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Malcolm Smith.
So
sorry, I was thinking of Jordan Hicks.
Nah. But he's gotten a lot out of these dudes. And like Quincy Williams is still good, I think.
Yeah.
Mike Rutenberg knows exactly what to do with him. I think Quincy Williams has played on defensive lines like this before. And I think if there's anybody who could figure it out, it's Tarver, it's Rutenberg, it's these three people. There's going to be an improvement.
All right. My final pick. I've already made a pick at this position. But I'm doubling down because I believe in the person. I believe in how hard this dude works. I believe in the athleticism that this dude has, and I'm going to go with Aiden Huntington.
Really?
And yeah, I think he's going to be able to, especially early on, because I don't think Malik Collins is going to be ready for the beginning of the season, and so because of that, I think that there's going to be a little bit of like an audition process with this new coaching staff to see who kind of takes charge in that spot. And I do think that I can see Aiden Huntington kind of playing his way into a little bit more of a role this year. And again, last year didn't really have a ton of tackles or anything like that. But I do think that he's somebody that I think could get some playing time. And especially when it comes to, Jacques Césaire and like that entire coaching staff, I think that you're going to see some buy-in with him. And again, like I had heard going into last year, like he was already just like trying to be a sponge, trying to take up whatever knowledge he could get, whether it would be from Miles, whether it be from, plenty of other players like in training and everything like that leading up to the draft and even after. He's somebody that I think, especially with a full offseason of being here in Berea and being around all those guys and having experience as a pro, I think that he's somebody that I want to see how he plays this season.
All right, I'm gonna go same position group. Mike Hall.
Okay.
First full year where he's like 22 years old, 23 now. Right.
Yeah.
First
right
full
there.
year with an actual offseason. Lost his first offseason because of his domestic situation. Mm-hmm. Lost his second offseason because of that strange meniscus injury that lingered until like week 9. Mm-hmm. And it really like derailed his entire sophomore campaign. This year, full offseason, hopefully he stays healthy. Full training camp, hopefully he stays healthy. He only has to improve from 4 solo tackles and 1.5 sacks. For a defensive line, where there's going to be a big void, right, on it. So I think Mike Hall is a prime candidate to improve this year. And, like, remember, like, when he played his rookie year, 17.5 pass rush win rate, like, ultra, like, aggressive, talented pass rusher. And what he has been able to do over the last couple of years, hopefully, is, like, get some muscle, right, that he needed to be a little bit more consistent. I do worry if his game is ever going to be as consistent as I want it to be. I think there's always going to be a cap on that. But I think he's going to be somebody who's going to be really strong in a pass rush heavy role at that 3-tech position. And I think the stars are going to align for him to finally have a fully healthy year. And again, he's the same age as Mason Graham.
Yeah, that is still insane.
Like, super young at a position, like had a 17.5 pass rush win rate at 20 years old in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like that can't come from nothing. So I think you get this guy full offseason, he's going to rise. I think this is my sleeper pick here, because a lot of people have kind of given up on Mike because of the weirdness around his career so far. But the talent is certainly there. Hopefully he's figured out some things over the last 3 years to make his life a little easier, and that can translate to his play on the field. Because I was really hoping to see him in camp last year. Obviously, that did not happen. And, man, he looked so good when he was in camp his rookie year. Then he gets derailed. He comes in the middle of a kind of like crap year and puts up good numbers and then gets hurt at the end of it. Like, so many stops and starts to this guy's career, but he still has a whole like NFL career ahead of him, right? A whole, like, he's basically a rookie. You could wipe out his first 3 years. It's like he came out of Ohio State right now, and like, I guess that's the way I look at Mike Hall. If this dude were drafted this year instead of us dealing with the bullshit that we had to deal with Mike Hall the first 2 years, how would we feel about him?
Honestly, I think that with the way that he has, like, just the physical gifts that he has right away, like, I it's a great pick, man. Like, and it's one that I get, I fully understand it, and like you said too, like the fact that at his age, like, he has as much experience as he does, and yet he hasn't had a single, like, full just regular off season.
It's crazy.
It's insane. And again, I think you might roll your eyes when I say this too, but it's very similar to me to where, like, when Isaac Okoro started his career.
Oh no.
Where it was starting like he was drafted like 3 weeks before like his rookie season. All of a sudden then it's a short off season to get into the next season. Like, and then you realize that they compacted like 3 seasons into like a year and a half, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just like once you finally got into like the actual like regular parts of a regular like traditional NBA season, all of a sudden then you realize like, okay, now we just have to play catch up. But you realize that, hey, you know what, that experience did help him along the way, and at least seeing that progress along the way there. But again, not to always bring it back to my boy, but yeah.
I hope he's better at his
I think
position than Isaac Okoro was, which, you know, like, but yeah, I
you know,
see
I'm always gonna find a way, man.
I see what you're saying, but yeah, that's the real like strange thing with him is just the oddness of his career. Like, I think I did something this year where, like, if he were drafted this year, he'd be like the 3rd youngest guy in the draft class.
That's
like,
insane.
It's
Man.
insane. Like, he's so young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he's the same age as Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Like, there's a lot of bloom there left to get out of Mike Hall. Strange first 3 years, but I think now he can finally start to hit the ground rolling. And I think if he does, we're going to remember just how talented we thought this guy was when we first saw him, right? When we were desperate for defensive line play. You know, I think we're going to kind of go there. He kind of got lumped into a weird season last year, especially like there's Mason Graham there, but Malik Collins is having such a good year that season. Just kind of makes it awkward for him. But I think now he'll be in a much better spot here. But that is our riser drafts. Next time you'll see us, we'll have to get a little bit more negative and get into the droppers.